Wow, there we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the virtual bariatric meetup. I'm so excited that you could join us today. We know that many of you are watching this not live, but we are very excited that you are watching it because we have some epic guests today that are going to help us become the best individuals that we can possibly be before and after bariatric surgery. So welcome. If you have not introduced yourself in the chat, please do take a moment to do so. If you feel comfortable sharing that information, you are welcome to. And if you don't feel comfortable sharing, that is also okay. No worries there. We are just going to dive right in because we have a lot to cover today, a lot to get to today. So again, thank you so much, you guys, for being here today. This is the East to West crew. Our special guests today are Dr. Ariel Ortiz and Mabel is here. Hello, Mabel. She's waving at the screen. Oh my goodness. This is actually the first time that we have interacted with Mabel in this capacity. We've done so many text messages, we can probably write a book. But we're very excited to learn from both of these very prominent guests and really experts in their field today. Jason is not with us because he is on vacation. We can all be mad at him because he's on some beach in Florida. So let's send him like, but we love him nonetheless. So if you guys are returning to us, you kind of know the drill. If you're brand new, again, thank you so much for hitting that Zoom link. I know how scary that can be if it's something that you've never done before, but I just want to let you know that this is a safe place for us to learn and grow together as bariatric people. So some of us are pre-op, some of us are post-op, some of us love someone who is undergoing or will undergo bariatric surgery, or you are an advocate or a friend of bariatric people. So thank you so very much for being here today. We always want to start with our mission and ground rules, so we're all kind of on the same page here. But our mission at the Virtual Bariatrics Meetup is to support this community with humor, humility, and honesty. It's what we do at East to West. It's what we do really in all facets of our support. We really want to destigmatize bariatric surgery in the world. And this is one of the ways that we're doing it. And then, of course, we just want to grow our community for patients and for their supporters. And we want a safe place that we can share and learn and grow together, because that is how we find success. So just some ground rules. Always assume best intent. Share what you are comfortable with sharing publicly, knowing that this is a recorded event. So anything that you do will be a part of the recording. If you have a question that you'd like to ask privately, please do so after the event. You can reach out to any of the guests, myself, Natalie, any of the East to West crew, and we will make sure that your question is answered. We're not here to sell anything. Never. If we see any nudity, violence, isms in the chat or in the window, we'll just kick you out and you won't be allowed to attend again. So let's be, somebody called me an American treasure the other day. I don't know if you guys saw that. This is like my new tagline now. So let's all be American treasures and support one another. And as always, this is not medical advice in any sense of the word. If you would like to make a change to your current medical program, consult your doctor, physician, psychologist, psychiatrist, consult your medical peeps, okay? Okay, I think I did it, Nat. Did I do it? I think I did it. Okay. The last thing before, okay. If you guys know, I tend to talk a lot, so please just interrupt. You guys hear and see my voice and my face enough. We are here to see Mabel and Dr. Ortiz today. Before we really dive in, a huge thank you to our sponsors. I don't know if you guys know this, but these businesses sponsor what we do here at East to West. They help us keep the lights on, so to speak. So if you live locally, Gather Juice Company is amazing, and it's in Tacoma. Grit City Chiropractic, again, amazing and in Tacoma. Retreat Drinks is a local Gig Harbor company. They make the most delicious hot cacao beverage you have ever tried in your life. They ship nationally. I got Natalie hooked, and the woman is absolutely amazing. She's going to be a podcast guest who started Retreat Drinks, but it's all natural, organic, low, like no fake stuff. It's just amazing. Natalie, do you want to speak to how amazing that drink is?
Yes, it is. It's so rich and creamy without, like, literally all you add is water. Like, it is the most, and I'm not a hot chocolate person, so when April sent me some, I was like, okay, like, hot chocolate, whatever, but it really is delicious. So even if you're not really a hot chocolate person, but you like having a treat at the end of the day, it's like the perfect thing.
Yeah, I had a big glass of it last night. I'm a big coconut fan, and it's made with coconut milk. So if you like that little hint of like tropical deliciousness, it's pretty amazing. And there is a discount code. If you would like to order some, let me know and I will send you that code. But really the biggest thank you guys goes to our patrons. I know a lot of our patrons are here today. These are people who contribute monthly to help us, again, keep the lights on at East to West and make sure that this support remains a resource for our community. It really means the world to us. It helps us offset our costs. Doing this costs money, and we are happy to provide that for the community. But to know that there are people in our community that also want to help with that is just mind-blowing to us, really. So a huge, huge thank you to our patrons of East to West. If you would like to become a patron and support us on a different level, message us afterwards and we will absolutely let you know how that works. And if you are a patron of East to West, you got a special invitation to an after party today with the one and only Mabel. We're going to get one-on-one time with her, and we are super excited because you know that's when all the real tea is going to come out. That's when she's going to throw the truth bombs. She's going to tell it like it is. It's going to be brutally amazing. I have a feeling. So that is for our patrons only. Just as a thank you for supporting us in a different way. Oh my goodness. Okay. I think I did it. Here's our agenda. It's gonna get flipped. We're gonna start with Mabel, unless Dr. Ortiz is here. Is he here? No. So Mabel, we are gonna kick it off with you. Hopefully Dr. Ortiz will be able to join us as well. We will wrap up with him, and then we'll just do a little looking ahead for next month. We've already got next month event. It's up. You can register for it. We'll talk about it at the end. But first and foremost, you guys, okay, before we really dive in, Mabel is going to kick us off. Mabel is the mindset shifting guru in our community. In the chat, let me know, or let us know, what mindset questions do you have today, or what mindset are you looking to shift today and in the future in your journey? What is really kind of on the forefront when it comes to mindset? That's a good one. The food shift. Oh, yeah. Angie, been there, living that. Marsha, oh my gosh, yes. Natalie had a great post on that this week. Oh, Erin, that's a good one. We talked about that a lot at Christmas time. During the holidays, entertainment and food.
Yeah, head hunger seems to be another one that a lot of people are starting to battle with right now.
Jason, what the hell? You're supposed to be on vacation.
Yeah. I snuck in for a minute because I couldn't let the day go without at least coming and saying hi to everybody. So yeah, I am on vacation, but still, I had to pop in and say something. But no, head hunger definitely is something that I think not only myself, but I know that April and I and Natalie have all talked about that. And yeah, head hunger is absolutely a real thing. That's definitely something that we want to try to do our most to dig deep into, because that's something that we all battle with.
Yes. Thank God, Jason, you gave me the scare of a lifetime. Jesus, I was like, oh my God. Well, I'm very glad to see your very handsome face. Hi, friend.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I kind of figured that I snuck in the back door on you, so I just wanted to jump in and at least say hi to everybody. And then I thank everybody for coming and being here, because I know we had a lot of people registered, but we also have a lot of great information to cover today. So while you might not see my beautiful face the whole time today, April, and I've left you in very capable hands with April and Natalie and everybody that's going to be here today. So thank you guys for coming. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Fred. All right, with no further ado, Ms. Mabel, I'm going to mute myself and I am going to hand the floor over to you.
Hi, everybody. I am so excited to be here. I love talking everything mindset, and I love helping people understand their mindset, because once you understand your mindset, everything in your life just becomes easier. Like, you stop blaming yourself for things and you just realize that you just have a human brain and you just have to figure it out. Like, you just have to reprogram your brain and that's it. Like it's nothing to do with you as a person. So let me introduce myself. I'm Mabel, and I had surgery June 2018. So I'm hitting 3 years in June. My highest weight was 280. My starting weight was 260, and I'm currently 170. While I was going through this journey, it was quite difficult because I didn't understand why I did the things that I did. I had a lot of self-hate about why I got overweight to begin with, and so much judgment. And I decided like I didn't want to do this anymore. Like I wanted to live a life and that I loved myself and lived a life that I wanted for myself. Like I didn't want to feel at the effect of life. So I started getting into personal development, started reading books. And then all of a sudden it just clicked for me, like personal development and mindset, that is it. And I knew that that was gonna be the work in my life. Like I really fell in love with everything mindset, became certified as a life coach, and this is what's happening now. Today's topic is believing new things about yourself. And the reason why this is so important is because if you don't know how to believe, like how to create that new belief within yourself, then you will always wait for outside validation to believe something new. Or you'll believe that you have to be slimmer or lose the weight to believe something new. And waiting for those things to allow you to believe something new is very exhausting, and it's not realistic. We're not always going to get, we're not always going to hear the things that we want to hear from the outside world. And so if you know how to create that within yourself, it's life-changing. So before I start, I want you guys to think about this question, and I guess you guys could type it in the chat. I want you to think about one thing you believe about yourself right now that you know is not serving you in your weight loss surgery journey. Just think about something, or you don't even have to type it, but just keep that in mind as I do the presentation so that you could see if you can start applying this information to your life today. So here is, okay, I see, I'll never be thin. Okay. So here's the thing that I want you to know. What we believe about ourselves right now is based on our past. And what our past has nothing to do with our future. Like many people will come up to me and they'll be like, oh, I've always believed that. And they honestly believe that they just can't believe something new. Your past and the way that you think about yourself in the past has nothing to do with your future. You could really believe something new, and there's nothing that anybody could do about it. It's really that simple. Our brains is filled with sentences that are taught to us directly and indirectly from our childhood, the things that we hear, the things that we see, what we choose to believe, but it does not make it true. It's just something that we believe. Once ingrained, we no longer notice them, right? And we take them as the truth. We don't question these thoughts, and we just do it over and over and over again. So we just think it's just something that's happening, but it's not. It's something that we chose to believe, and we're just reliving the same thoughts over and over. It's like a thought loop.
And Mabel, and I'll say too,
sorry.
I think what makes, you're good. I think what makes this really interesting, when I was really looking at your presentation, after it's kind of like how I think of how I became addicted to food. You do it a few times and then it just becomes automatic. And our brains are wired to do things automatically. It's looking to automate things so that we can free up our working brain in the moment to deal with things as they come. So if I can automate these thoughts, even though they're not true, or maybe they're negative and they're not helpful, my brain is going to do that so that it can free this up. So that when something comes up in life, the automatic thought is just, oh no, this is what you think. You don't even need to use any of your brain power for that. So really what we need to do to make these changes that you're talking about today is we have to stop that automatic thought process, which takes a lot of energy. Right. And we're already spending a lot of energy thinking about food or preparing for surgery or all these other things that just come with life or bariatric surgery. And now I need to stop that automatic thought when in the moment. So I need to recognize that I'm even having it. And then I need to deal with that. And that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work, which is why this is so hard.
Yes. And why did I just forget my thought? Oh, so we judge ourselves for having these automatic thoughts, but how amazing is our brain, right? It wants us to do all the things, so it simplifies things. The thing is, our brain doesn't know the difference between thoughts that are not serving us and thoughts that are serving us. And that's the work that we need to do. We need to be in charge of our brain instead of our brain being in charge of us. So that is very important to know. So examples of thoughts that might not be serving you, that you might be thinking is, I'm just this kind of person. I can't do that. I'm not good at that. I've always had a hard time. An example of this is, I'm just not a person who wakes up in the morning. Is that really true? Or did you choose to believe that you're a person who doesn't wake up in the morning? So that person will live their life thinking that they can't get up in the morning to work out or do the things that they need to do for themselves. And it just becomes automatic, not knowing that they chose that belief. And their brain just does it on autopilot. Yep, I'm not a morning person, so this is what's happening. But you could choose to believe something different.
I have to, and as soon as I saw this slide, Mabel, I thought, oh my God, this, so if you guys are members of the Bariatric Book Club, this was a book last month. And when you said this, that past thoughts stop us from being, and just what you were talking about, there's a reason that our brain is saying no, right? We are wired to win. And even if we say, well, I can't be that person, and we are not that person, we are just saying, well, you're winning at not being that person. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. Like, I'm reinforcing that this is a good thing, even though it is something I really want to change. It's shifting this mindset of, I am not that person. I do not have to be that person. And I can win in a different area. It's gonna be hard, but I can, in fact, do it. And that shift is what we need to make if we really want to become these different people.
Right. I wanted to add something. So it's more complicated than what I'm going to explain now, but I like simple things. So our brain is divided into two sections: our survival brain and our prefrontal cortex. And our survival brain just wants to do the things that are easiest. And it doesn't know the difference between the good habits, the bad habits, the good thoughts, the good thoughts, the bad thoughts. It just wants us to survive. And then we have our prefrontal cortex, the part of our brain that allows us to think about what we're thinking. So this work is really about listening to and using your prefrontal cortex to make changes into your life, and knowing that your survival brain will always be working and nothing has gone wrong, but you just have to be more into the prefrontal cortex of your brain. So that's why I feel so jumbled and confused. It's not because something's wrong with you. You just have a human brain. You just have to manage it better.
And I have to say, the biggest aha moment that I've had so far in therapy was learning that what I did to survive, whatever I did way back in the day, was actually how my brain was wired. It actually did what it was supposed to do, which was keep me alive. And just to get to the place where I could, thank my brain for actually doing what it was supposed to do, and use that thankfulness as a tool to move forward was so powerful, because then it got rid of all of the shame that I was holding from my old decisions. It's like, no. My brain actually did what it was supposed to do. My brain is a rock star, and it kept me alive. It doesn't matter if I've never actually been in a life or death situation. My brain perceived that I was. And it did what it was wired to do, which was keep me alive. So to know that it did help me is a tool that I can use moving forward, because if it helped me back then, it's going to help me now. I just need it to function in a little bit of a different way. And I have the power to make that change, which is what you're talking about.
Exactly. And it removed all that heaviness from your journey once you did that, like once you acknowledge that, right?
Yeah.
I think that's so amazing. And then the other thing is that we get so caught up in our lives. Nobody really sits down to really think about their thinking. Like they're just doing the 9 to 5, come home, take care of the kids, do that, do this. And just don't sit down and think about what you're thinking. It's so important to just stop and just acknowledge what's going on.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So Mabel, if you don't, let's take a pause. Is there any ahas, any wonderings, anything that you guys would like to say, or a question that you have for Mabel? I want to make sure we build in these moments of pause.
Tell me all the things.
And it's okay if there is nothing. This isn't a bad thing, but it's a lot of information to take in.
It is. I'm glad you slowed it down, girl, because I'll just keep going.
Yeah, I know. This is the teacher part of me, which is why we need all kinds. Okay. So we're all looking at the shared screen, right? Why do old beliefs resist our new ones? And really, you say that there's 3 reasons that it does that: practice and repetition, cognitive dissonance, and comfort over pain. And we kind of touched on these. Yeah. But I think it's important to know that there are 3 reasons that when we try to make change, we hit that resistance wall.
Yeah, and again, knowing this will take the judgment away from your journey. Yeah. Knowing that you want to make changes and it's difficult and it's normal. Like, you just have a human brain. It just makes everything much easier. Everything is going exactly how it's supposed to be going.
That was a big aha moment. Sorry, from another book. I got too many books in here on my desk, but I got a lot of books, right? But there was another aha moment that came for me, was that realizing that physical pain and that emotional pain that I was experiencing when I was trying to make these changes, these new habits, these shifts, was actually what it's supposed to feel like. I thought that pain and discomfort meant that I was doing something wrong. Mm-hmm. But that was my brain tricking me out of doing the work of weight loss surgery. Mm-hmm. That pain and discomfort is how you know you are doing the work. That is what it is supposed to feel like. And I was like, oh my freaking God, holy shit. Right? Because before, that pain indicated to me something was wrong. So I stopped doing it. No. That pain indicates you are doing it correctly, and you need to push through and continue doing what you're doing to find that change. Mm-hmm. What? Mind-blowing.
And I think people think that discomfort is going to stay there forever, but it's not. Mm-hmm. It will go away, and then there'll be something else you want to achieve, and we'll do it again. But at every level, you're going to be evolving into this person that you want to become. But it's part of the process.
Yeah.
I love that you brought that up. That is so true.
Yeah. Yep. And then this was kind of your quote. And really, this is your key to doing this work, right? If you believe you are a person who can't, you need to rehearse the role of the person who can.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, fire, straight fire. But it's so true, right? Because you're saying, look, if you're not there yet, that's okay. But we get there by envisioning the person who we want to become, and we practice that role in our heads, right? It really does just take practice.
That's all it is. And then when you visualize it enough times, you actually live it. So you start taking action as if you were that person. Mm-hmm. And then you become, like, the more you do it, you naturally just become this person who you want to become. Like, there isn't a magical moment where you're going to become this person. Like, this is the work that you have to do every single day. I mean, we're not going to go crazy and try to do everything at the same time, but it's patience and just going through the process.
Yeah. So really, you recommend kind of three things that we can do to shift our mindset. We can practice patience. We can move towards discomfort, which is totally foreign to every human walking the planet right now. Or we can do something called the thought ladder, which I had never heard of before. That was a brand new thing for me. So will you take us through these three things that we can do?
Okay, so practice and patience. So exactly how you have the thought that you have now, the belief that you have now that's not serving you, you practice the new thought that you want to have. And know that it's going to feel painful, but nothing has gone wrong. And do not panic. It does not mean to stop. Move towards the discomfort. Again, we spoke about this, imagining and visualizing yourself being that person. How does he or she act? How does she dress? He or she dresses. Who is this person? Just become that person by acting like that person. I love to use the analogy of being in a play, being in a show. Become that character, and then you'll naturally just become her or him.
When I did this, Mabel, it was funny that this was what you were recommending, because I also did this maybe 7 or 8 months ago. Wendy, my therapist, asked me, well, who do you want to be? What is your new identity? And I said, I really want to be identified as a healthy person. And I thought, oh, okay, well, what does that look like? What is a healthy person? And then I actually made a list. If you guys want, I'll take a picture of it and I'll send it to you. But I made this giant on a piece of paper. I said, okay, well, what does a healthy person do? Well, they move, they get good sleep, they think, a lot about what they eat, they probably track what they're eating. So I just said, like, what does this healthy person do? And I imagined a healthy person. And I wrote all these things down. And then when I looked at it, I was like, oh my God, this is a lot of freaking work. And before I went to my all or nothing mindset, I stopped myself and I was like, well, girl, you need to take this one thing at a time. And I literally just said, okay, well, a healthy person takes their vitamins. Okay, I'm going to only start with this. And I figured out how taking vitamins would become a habit in my life. And I focused on that until it became automatic. And then I moved to the next thing, right? But by really visualizing on paper what that person does, helped me identify what do I need to do in my life to actually be a healthy person, which is exactly what you're talking about here. I just took it one step further and I put pen to paper. Right. But you're talking about, you need to become that person. You need to put yourself in the shoes of the person that you want to become and figure out what that person does to actually be identified as that. And then you do those things day in and day out.
And that's the thing, like, people will have these goals. They have no idea how to get there because they don't take the time to visualize, how do I even get there? Who is this person? You know what I mean? Like, you have to sit down and think about it and just break it down, just like you did.
Yeah. Yep. But before we move on to the thought ladder, any questions, any comments, anything that's floating up here in your head that you want to just verbalize, because it's maybe the first time that you've said it out loud?
I'm so glad you're here for pausing stuff.
It's important.
Yes, it is.
And you guys are free to write it in the chat too. Yeah, I will definitely send you guys that list. Yes. If I can find it while we're still here, I will even show you what it looks like, but it remains very helpful for me. Yeah, all or nothing mindset. Oh my gosh. I think a lot of us in this room have that same mindset because it's kind of what led to, it's one of those root causes of our obesity, right? Like, just to be honest, it's that all or nothing mindset that really got us to a bad place when it comes to making these changes, right? Because as soon as we made one mistake, we're like, oh, well, I fucked it up, right? Like, oh, I screwed it up. So now I'm done for the day. Like, I'm such a failure. And all that does is just keep us in this shame cycle that really prevents us from making the changes that we need to do.
I wanted to add something, but this process, people tend to want to rush it because they believe that the happiness and everything is going to be there. But you could create that right now as you are becoming that person. Happiness is created within you. It's not when you get to the result. It's not when you become this person. You could be happy right now and work on becoming the person that you want to become. And that's the thing, like, there's no rush. It's okay.
Nope. If our end goal is a feeling, then there is no arrival fallacy, right? Because we're all going to lose weight. We're all going to get to a smaller size. We're all going to be able to move in ways that we've never done before. But we're probably going to get there and we're going to realize, oh, that didn't actually bring me the ultimate happiness, right? Because there's always something else then, right? So then you're constantly chasing that other thing. But if we focus on a feeling, how do I want to feel? Do I want to feel at peace? Do I want to feel whole? Do I want to feel joyful? Do I want to feel, I mean, there's 8 billion feeling words out there. If we focus on that feeling, then we're always going to be rewarded when we reach that feeling, because there is nothing beyond a feeling.
Yes, I love that. That's so true.
Right? It is so true. So it's great to have these goals, but to know that sometimes that can be a trap for us. That's an all or nothing trap. And that's an efficiency trap. I got to get there because then I'll be happy. You won't. There's actually a word for it. It's called the arrival fallacy. But if I'm focusing on how do I want to feel, I can work towards my goal. But if my goal is based in that feeling, once I arrive there, ooh, that's peace. That's peace, right? Again, it's a mindset shift. It's a mindset shift.
Just one more thing. You generate your feelings with your thoughts. What you think, like the only reason we have any feelings is because of what we're thinking. So if you think happy thoughts, the feelings will just naturally come. So knowing that you are the creator of your feelings and nothing outside of you, that changes everything. I think that's one of the things that changed everything for me. Like, I could be happy right now at this very moment. Like, it doesn't have to be when I become this person that I'm trying to become. Like right now, I could be happy, thinking happy thoughts.
Yeah. And there's something in the chat, Erin, I absolutely want to recognize this because I want to give you perhaps a little nugget of a mindset shift. Doing one thing today differently for your health means that you are a healthier person. It doesn't take 8 million things, right? It's you getting in more water today. You're a healthy person. You taking your vitamins today. You are a healthy person, right? Like you tracking macros, or you getting in more protein, or eating a little bit fewer carbs, right? Or reading something that's going to help your mindset. That means you are a healthier person. Just a little truth nugget there for you. Just,
very true.
Yeah, right? Because saying that I'm never going to get there, or I have to do it overnight. No. We can shift it to say, I did something that aligns to my new identity today. That's doing it. That is actually doing the work. Even if you didn't do the 10 things, even if you did the one thing, that is one thing. That is a vote for the person who you want to become. If I need to quote my future husband, James Clear. I love my husband, but James and I are on a destiny. We're on a destiny attract to meet this, right? But he says every action that we take is a vote for the person who we are. So if we want to become a different person, we have to cast a vote. We have to collect the evidence that shows that we are a different person. That one action is a vote. It's a piece of evidence that demonstrates you are becoming the person that you want to be, or even better, you are the person you want to be.
I love that.
Just saying.
I love that. That's really deep. No, it is.
Right? But Mabel, this is the work that we have to do if we want to find success. Right? Everybody's like, oh, bariatric, you're just going to get your stomach cut out. Your stomach's going to be smaller. You're just going to eat less. Bullshit. Yeah, we're going to eat less. This is the work that actually allows us to live our lives at a weight that's healthy for us. And nobody tells you this going into it. Nobody tells you this. They hand you a binder that says, well, eat this in week 1, eat this in week 2. Oh, and then after a month, have fun. Good luck. You gotta be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me.
So true.
Right? This is why we have you. This is why we have this community, so we can figure this out together, because none of us want to be on the wrong side of that regain stat. We all want to be on the stat that says, I have learned to live my life at a weight that's healthy for me. Mic drop. Period. This is what we do. Okay, my friend, tell us, what the heck is a thought ladder?
Okay, so the thought ladder is a tool that you could use to get from the thought that you have that is not serving you to the thought that you want to have. And it's basically many thoughts in between to get you to that point B. So the first thing you want to do is, we're taking this example at my body will always be fat. If that's the thought that you have right now and you want to change it to I'm a thin person, the first thing you need to do is really ask yourself the question, is this true? Because many times we have thoughts, and if you really sit down and think about it, you're like, this is not the truth. I'm just saying this to myself over and over again. And the truth is, your body will always not be fat. Like, that's not a thing. Like, you're not supposed to, like, being overweight is not that it's not, well, it's not natural. Like, your body is naturally supposed to be thin. So that statement doesn't even make any sense. So if you start with, my body will always be fat, and then you just keep going down to, my body is fat now, but it could change. That seems like a true fact, right? My body has the ability to change. My body is capable of burning all of this fat for fuel, all fats. My body is working and can burn fat. I am burning fat. The more fat I burn, the less fat I have. And you keep going down until you get to, I am a thin person. Now, I'm reading this out loud quickly. It's not that fast, right? You have to get to the levels of it. And you have to write sentences that are true for you and that make sense to you. So this is just an example. But you could do this with any belief that you have now that you do not want to believe, but it's hard for you to, like, get from point A to B. So that is the thought ladder.
So really what you're saying is that just like we use a ladder as a tool, right, to climb to get to a different place, you don't start at the bottom and take one step and you're at the roof.
Exactly.
Right? You climb up the rungs of the ladder. And in this example, the climbing up the rungs is us telling ourselves different true statements that help us get to where we want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that's why, sorry. Go ahead.
Nope, I wasn't going to say anything at all.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's why affirmations don't work if you don't use it right. Because if you just pick any affirmation and you really don't believe it, of course it's not going to be ingrained in you. It has to be something that you believe at the moment. You just can't pick any affirmation and think that you're going to just believe it by saying it over and over again. This is why
I think what helps with this is that, and this is just my personal experience, I went into weight loss surgery 99% sure it would work. I did not 100% believe that it would work for me because I had zero evidence that anything in the past had worked for me. I had zero evidence that I could actually live my life at a healthy weight. So I'm very scientific. I'll use that in air quotes, but I was like, no, I don't have the evidence, right? So I can't say with certainty. And it really took, I think, about a year or a year and a half when I felt the last weight release from my soul. And it was when I finally had the evidence that, oh my God, this is going to work. So I get that ladder component of it, right? I really had to collect the evidence that things were going to work. And if I denied that collection of evidence along the way, then I had concrete proof that my addiction was also trying to talk me out of this, because now my addiction is trying to go against concrete evidence. And that is not something that my brain will allow things to happen. So I understand what you're talking about when it takes some time to get there. I cannot go from not believing to believing like that because I don't have the evidence. But as I continued on my journey, as my clothes got smaller, as my blood work came back positive, as I started to see more and more of myself in those side-by-side images that are so hard to create and look at, I imagine when you sent this, I was like, oh, all of those lines for me, all those bullet points were pieces of evidence that I was able to collect along the way. So it is one thing to have these affirmations. It's another thing to have pieces of evidence as we go. So I can see how powerful these sentences and that evidence was for me to get me to shift my mindset about my beliefs. Because when you sent me this, my first thing was, well, I can never live as a thin person. I can never live at a healthy weight. That was my starting belief. And now I don't know if I 100% believe it, but I'm like on that last rung. I've got 1 or 2 more things to go before I know, and I keep climbing it. And every day I do things that help me get evidence that I am very close to believing that, right? And that was kind of what my post yesterday was about. Natalie made that excellent side-by-side, thing. It got my brain firing on all cylinders. And I was like, you know what? I might not be the person who I thought that I would be, but I'm so close. I am so close. And then this came through in my email, and I was like, holy shit. Okay. This is it. This is right. This is that piece, because I'm climbing, and I'm tired, but I can see the roof, and I'm almost there.
And you brought a great point. Your brain, again, amazing. So when you have these 2 conflicting thoughts, it's going to find evidence for both.
Yes.
It's just is. It's going to find evidence to why you will always be fat, and it'll find evidence to why you will always be thin. And the key is listening to the evidence of the thought that you want to have, and knowing that just because you have all these evidence, nothing has gone wrong. Again, this is up to you now to take the driver's seat and decide what evidence you're going to collect. Like, okay, I see the evidence for why I might be fat forever, but I'm not going to take that. I like the other evidence, and that's what I'm going to collect. That is the key.
I have a perfect example for this. The other day I said that. The other day this happened to me. It was in the grocery store. I was in the grocery store, and I was having a real bad day, and I was like, I need some Cheetos. You guys know Cheetos are my kryptonite. So I bought freaking Cheetos, right? And they came home with me, and I said, oh my God, I'm always going to just be this horrible person that eats Cheetos. And I like mentally bitch slapped myself, and I was like, no, you are a person who chooses to eat or not eat Cheetos. That's true. And I was like, ooh, to myself, right? I had to say this to myself. But it was a mindset shift, because I was like, oh my God, still, I have this old chirping. You're always going to be this way. You're a failure. Why do you always say yes to this stuff? And I was like, oh my God. And then all of a sudden this came in, and I was like, no, you have a choice. You can be a person who eats Cheetos today, or you can be a person who doesn't eat Cheetos today. The choice is yours. But 1 bag of Cheetos does not dictate your health, your weight. 1,000 bags of Cheetos, yeah, that's going to dictate it. So you've got a choice, girl. Like, get out of this. And I was like, oh my God, I need some protein with some screwball whiskey in it. But that's that. Yeah. Okay, Natalie, I know you wanted to say something, and then I promise you guys, I'm going to be quiet, because I really want to hear what you guys are saying, what you're thinking.
Yeah, this goes back to, talking about why affirmations just don't work unless you believe them. Sarah and I were just kind of chatting, and, she's like saying that she's always tried to use affirmations in the past, and she's never understood why it doesn't work. And I feel the same way. I feel like I've always been like, okay, I'm going to do the thing. I'm going to put all the Post-it notes up, and then it's like, oh, why isn't it working? Like, isn't this supposed to work, But yeah, I think a lot of people are relating to that, especially. And then, yeah, a little bit of conversation about side-by-side pictures and how those can kind of lead you to believing, and so that you can start getting on that ladder and making your way up. So there's definitely some good things, but definitely the affirmations thing definitely hit me.
If there's an affirmation that you want to believe and you can't, that just means that you have to do a thought ladder to the affirmation. That's all it means. You can believe anything you want. That means that it's just too much for you. And you just need to do thought ladders, but you'll get there.
I would love to know what you guys are thinking. I know that your brains are firing, and they could be firing. They could be saying bad things. They could be saying good things. They could be saying just like you're trying to process.
It's a lot of information. If your brain hurts right now, it's doing it right.
You need to move into discomfort, not away from it.
Your brain might be arguing with all the information that we got going on right now. Like, is this true?
I will say it's very comforting to know that, like, I do just have like a normal brain, and like these things are normal to feel, and it's normal to have that inner dialogue and battle with it. I don't have some random special brain that was manufactured differently, that it was something that was it was a protection and it's doing its job. So I will say for myself, it's very comforting to know that I just have a regular old brain up here and it's just doing its job. So
just a normal human. I have these thoughts. Everybody has these thoughts, maybe in different areas of your life, but your brain is going to work the same way all the time.
My name is Persephone. I just wanted to mention that I've thought to myself this whole time that, telling myself that I need to do better has been what I should be doing, where sorry, my husband has a cough. This is just a whole new process that I feel like is going to help me so much. So thank you so much for sharing this. Where I thought I was doing the right thing, I'm actually realizing that I was going about it wrong. And this just gives me a whole new hope. So thank you so much.
And know that you did the best that you did with the information that you had. So don't feel bad about the way that you're thinking, what we're thinking before. You just did the best that you could with the information that you had. This is about learning new information. This is all part of the journey. So don't guilt yourself about it. I have to say that.
You absolutely mind-melded me. I was like, oh, no, girl, you have not done anything wrong. You have done exactly what you were supposed to be doing. Your brain did what it was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's working beautifully. I mean, all of our brains are amazing, really, when you think about what they have done to get us to this point in our lives. It's miraculous. So we're all doing the right things. It's just that now we need our brains to do something different. We need to shift our brains because we are becoming a different person than we were before surgery. And that's okay. That's a good thing. We just need a different skill set now. We need more tools. We need different tools. You can't build a house without a hammer. And none of us have had a hammer before. We now have a hammer. We have a bariatric tool. We need to use it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all this is.
Mm-hmm.
What if the thoughts that are in your head aren't your thoughts, that they were put there by, say, a medical professional, say my former knee doctor, who it's kind of a long story, but ultimately ended up telling me that even though I didn't ask about surgery, I was asking about medications, he told me that he wouldn't perform knee surgery on me because it wouldn't be successful because I weighed too much. And I was like, well, I can't do a lot of moving right now. It's a catch-22. And he says, it's easy. You just eat less. And I knew that was bullshit because I'd been talking with my primary doctor, but that's been living in my head for years. Since then, most of the time I put it away, but how do you do that? How do you get rid of that thought?
Tell me the exact thought. The thought was, it's easy, you just need to eat less?
Yep. Losing weight is easy. You just have to eat less.
Okay, my question to you is, what did you make that mean? Before you even make any changes, you need to acknowledge, what did you make those words mean to you about yourself?
That I was what it told me was that he believed I was overweight because I wanted to be, or was lazy, or didn't have the discipline. And I will say he was obviously a person who has never had an overweight moment in his life, based on how he looked, and of course acted. But that I was a failure because I was overweight.
So here's the thing, right? The words that people say, we make it mean whatever we want to make it mean. So he only said those words. He didn't say all the words that you just finished saying right now, right? So knowing that gives you power because you're making it mean that. What else could he have made it mean? Because what else?
It was pretty obvious. There was only one meaning. It was pretty condescending and patronizing.
Well, let me.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Let me interject because this is why this is so sticky. And Alice, thank you for having the bravery to ask this question because I know what it means to ask this question. We are overweight because we eat too much. That is fact. That is a fact, right? And we can't deny that. But what people don't understand is the why, right? They don't understand that. They don't understand the emotional, the physical, the biologic, all that crap that goes into it, okay? So when people say that to us, we take it to heart because we know that there is a sliver of it that is true, right? We do know that. But we also know that people don't understand how food works in our bodies and in our minds and in our souls, right? They don't understand any of that. And they're projecting that judgment of their own judgment onto us. And as large people, obese people, fat people, we have to deal with that because we can't hide what we struggle with. We walk around with our struggle visible for everybody. And we get tired of that, right? A drug addict can hide track marks. A sex addict can hide that. A shopping addict can hide that. We can't hide this. So we're front and center. But what Mabel is saying is really accurate, right? People can say these things to us, but we have a choice about how they impact us. We have a choice about how we react to those statements. And it's really hard when you hear those things constantly to think differently about them because there's a nugget of truth in them and we're all logical. So when somebody says something that's 1% true, we have to acknowledge that truth. That's why it hurts us. That's why it hurts us. But I think what Mabel is saying is that you do have the power to change your reaction to that statement. Either letting them know that you reject 99% of what they're saying and that you accept the one, or you don't have to tell them anything at all. That this is work that you can do privately, right? So it's about getting to a place in our understanding of our own decisions that is grounded in our truth and not anybody else's. And I think that it's difficult because when you're going into bariatric surgery, if you're like me, you don't 100% believe it's going to work. You've got fears. So it's hard to even get to a place that you just say a truthful statement because in the back of your brain, you don't actually really believe it 100%. But I think taking in what people are saying and doing what Mabel is suggesting and flipping the script, so to speak, and saying, okay, I do have a weight problem. I do eat too much. Okay, but here's why. And here's maybe why I think, and here's what I'm doing about it, right? So if you want to come at me with all this bullshit, then come at me. But I am over taking what you're saying to me and hurting and having it hurt me. I'm over that. I use very choice words. You guys probably know what words I really want to say right now if you know me well enough, which I won't because this is a public forum. But I would tell people to and then I would probably blow up their house. But the other thing that you can say is, well, thank you for the information. I'm feeling a lot of judgment from you right now. I'm going to take what you've said and think on it.
I also do want to acknowledge, we were talking in the chat a little bit about it, but it's also a sort like we do have this like shame that we want to, and shame does this really weird thing where it manipulates other people's words into, like what Mabel's saying, to mean something different to us. And that shame is kind of that first layer that we have to get rid of. I know for myself, it was one of the first things I had to say, you know what, I am 400 pounds, and that is a fact. And I'm not shameful of it because it is a fact. It is what it is. And from then on, I mean, it wasn't as easy as that, but from then on, I could kind of say, okay, I'm not going to be ashamed for reaching out to become healthier. I'm not going to be ashamed if someone says that I'm bigger because it's a fact. I am. And I think once you take that power away from the shame and the hurt, and you give it to yourself again, that is when this work that Mabel is talking about really can begin. And that's when this really becomes that ladder. You can start climbing up that ladder. But until you get rid of that shame it's sticky. It wants to stick to you really, really bad. It does not want to leave you. So once you finally just scrape it off of you and just say, I'm done feeling bad for being who I am and being big, then you can actually start doing this work that Mabel is talking about.
I completely get what you're saying, Natalie. One of the wonderful things about my brain is that it has anxiety, and so it ruminates. Yeah, we've talked a little bit about that. And so I've gone through cycles where I've told this to people and I've not had any problems at all. I think probably sharing it with you guys who I know have probably heard something similar is different, because I know that you know what that is, as opposed to just some of my friends who are very sympathetic. They don't need to know how deep that cuts. And of course it plays around, and I thought I had put it to bed, and then anxiety happens, like COVID, and it starts pulling out all the things that it thinks will, I don't know, distract me from COVID. I don't know what it was doing, but so yeah, it's hard. And but I'm looking at the thought ladder, and I'm trying, while you were talking about it, this is, out of all the thoughts I have, this one was the one that came up, even though I hadn't been thinking about it for a while, because I love the emphasis in the community about how it's not just about eating less, because we have this tool to make us eat less, and it's still hard. So that has been so affirming for me, even though I don't have the surgery yet. And I'm trying to think of how can I use this thought ladder to try to make that thought go away. And I'm going to have to try, Mabel, to reframe it the way you said. My brain hadn't come up with that idea. And I'm going to have to sit and do what I call chew on it. I'm going to have to chew on that for a while to see how I can merge these together, because all of the other thoughts that I have that are sort of negative don't have the impact that one does. And I hate that he has that. And there's a little more to it, because I didn't want to go into super details, but it was just, I was in a vulnerable situation in the office, because even though I was going in for medication, he thought I was coming in for a shot or something. And so I was just in a gown, and I was on a high chair where I couldn't rest my feet. So I was in such a non-position of power. If I had been fully dressed, I would have gotten up and walked out.
Mm-hmm. That's the work you need to do. I'll help you with that later on. Don't worry. I got you.
So you guys, a real simple thing that you can make yourself is a very simple T-chart. I'm showing it in my little screen here. But on a piece of paper, take a piece of paper, divide it in half. On one side, write what I believe. What do you believe right now? Just brain dump, right? I call it word vomit. And then right next to that, have another column that says, what is actually true? And there could be truths that are not nice, and there can be truths that are nice. But by writing down what you believe and then what is actually true, you are really coming up with your sentences for your truth ladder, right? For your thought ladder.
You were such a teacher. I love it.
What do they say? You can't take the farmer off the farm.
You're already making up a workbook.
Oh my goodness, you guys. It is 11:01. Oh, I absolutely want to respect our time. Mabel came up with this really great thing at the end. I want to make sure that you have a time to talk us through it.
Yes, it's really that simple. Acknowledge your limited beliefs and flip the script. Practice, repeat, believe, and be patient. I wish we had more time though.
I know, no. And to think that we were only gonna have 30 minutes between.
And how are we gonna do this?
I don't know.
See, everything happens for a reason.
Everything happens for a reason. Ain't that the truth? All right, you guys. Dr. Ortiz and Mabel have some recommended resources for us if you would like to continue this work. She recommends 3 books: Get Out of Your Head, Everything is Figure Outable, and Awaken the Giant Within. I have not read either any of these, so you know that my Amazon cart will be full today. If you want to dive into metabolic wellness, these are the recommendations by Dr. Ortiz, and I will just show them here. One of them is Why We Get Sick, because you guys know I own these. If you see the bookshelf behind me, The Obesity Code, and then End Your Carb Confusion. Those are the recommendations. And you know I cannot go a day without recommending my future husband's book, James Clear's Atomic Habits. I also highly recommend this one. I also swore at Gary Bishop and chucked this book across the room, so you know that it's really good. And then Natalie and a couple of other you guys will know, if you want to focus on feelings and help you identify where you want to be in your life, cannot recommend this book more. It is a book that I absolutely love hate because it is not linear in its organization. And I just want to throw punch people sometimes when they're not linear, but this book changed my life. It's called The Desire Map. Mabel also has coaching that you can work with her through. And I'm not saying this right. So Mabel, let us know what kind of services you offer.
So I have a membership that every month we talk about a different topic, and it's basically having access to me and access to me in your brain on a monthly basis, well, on a daily basis. And also you could just hit me up on Instagram. I'm there.
She is an amazing resource, you guys. She is one of us. She has had bariatric surgery herself, as you know, so she is living it. You're right. So there's a lot of comfort in not having to explain the backstory to people.
Exactly.
Just to get straight down to the work. So absolutely check her out. She is on Instagram at Beyond the Sleeve Academy, or you can visit her website, beyondthesleeveacademy.com. A phenomenal resource. Mabel, thank you so very much for your time today. This has been, I think, pretty huge. Yeah, you guys, I will give you a list of the books. If you register for the event today, I will send out an email tomorrow, just kind of recapping what we did today. I'll make sure that I post it on our Instagram feed as well. Before I go into kind of the final wrap up stuff, I want to just real quick do a temperature check. Are you guys leaving today with what you were hoping to get out of today? I see thumbs up.
I have to say that I feel like I'm getting more than what I expected.
Boom! I love it, right? Under promise and over deliver.
Negative thoughts, and I'm leaving with positive.
That just makes my heart happy. I gotta tell you. I have
to say, I was being a little negative when I started because I was like, oh, I don't know if I need this. I've been through therapy for years and years and years now. I've tried all this work. I've tried affirmations. It doesn't work. That's why I said in the chat, like, it was so mind blowing when you started to talk about the thought ladder and how you have to believe the affirmation in order for it to work. So that's my goal this week, is working on affirmations for myself that I can believe. So I just have to say thank you guys so much.
That is epic, Sarah, epic. Yeah, and if you even want to go one step further, write those affirmations, and then also write down what is a person who's living that affirmation doing to get there, right? Because not only do you now believe it, but now you have a pathway to get there. You know what those rungs are going to be. My brain hurts, and that doesn't happen very often, you guys.
It's a good sign.
It's a good sign. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, Mabel, again, thank you so much for joining us today and for your expertise. We very much appreciate it. If you are a patron of East to West, Mabel's going to be joining us for just a very intimate Q&A right after this. You have gotten the link in all of the platforms. If you would like to join us for our next virtual bariatric meetup, we host these every month. April's is going to be focusing on reframing food. So kind of shifting our mindset, shifting our understanding of food, finding our joy again. And I do have to say, we have my most favorite person on the internet. I'm sorry, Mabel, I have to cheat on you a little bit here, but my ultimate favorite person on the internet is joining us in April. I can't say her name yet, but if you know me well enough, you know exactly who I'm talking about. And it's going to be amazing, you guys. Absolutely amazing. So really, it's going to come back to food is something that we need to eat to live. How do we find joy in it again in a way that is safe and comforting for us? So that is what April is going to be all about. The event is live on our website. If you would like to register, head to eastwestwls.com and register, and you will get that Zoom link. I think that's it, you guys. I think we did it. I cannot thank you enough for joining us today. Like I said, we know how much bravery you have to click that Zoom link and come and join us. But we very much appreciate your time. We appreciate your vulnerability, your honesty, your humor, and your humility. You guys are rock stars. Thank you so much for joining us today, you guys. Very much appreciate it. I'll stay on for a couple minutes if you got any lasting questions. But other than that, have a wonderful weekend, you guys, and have a great day with your mind.
Thank you guys so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
This was fun.
Dude, right, Mabel? I told you.
It's so fun.
Yes. Yes. It is. It's always an epic event. Always.
It's just nice to be in a space with people